For those of you who don't remember, our entry into League of Legends professional esports was anything but glamorous. I mean, we started our first split with 8 games and no wins at all. What made matters more difficult was that we were still trying to get situated with everything needed for a successful LEC team. I'm talking coaches, an office, equipment, performance staff, even the brand and what we stood for. We were the little fish in the big LEC pond.
We were completely new kids on the block. We had to catch up in a very short amount of time. So we invested in young talent, with a farm team, in a really smart approach, with a stable backbone, performance coaches. But honestly, it doesn't matter how smart you are, you also need a portion of luck. And we definitely had that with the young talent. We got into our farm team very early on.
I think Rogue 2 years ago was very young and undeveloped in kind of a lot of aspects. I think with the first roster was a bit kind of rushed, but from that each kind of split that went on, things got a bit more structured. We added more people to the coaching staff. We improved like the environment, how we were like approaching performance and how we were like teaching the players. So each split continues to improve and get better.
So we can't really go, I mean, I could go drink well, but they might come here.
LEC Summer Split 2019. We were making progress, but no one really saw it in us to make any huge waves when it came to competing. We ended up in 5th place in a 4-way tie from head-to-head records. Splice was the first challenge we had to overcome to represent LEC at the 2019 World Championship. The LEC casters, analysts, and many fans on social media didn't think we had it in us. We get swept and life would go on. To everyone's surprise, we beat Splice.
Not just a 2-0, not just a win, but here we go, defying all expectations. The legacy of European rookies is alive and well with Rogue. They destroy Splice. They secure top 4.
Unfortunately for us, we couldn't defeat Schalke 04 in round 2. And with that loss, we were done for 2019. It was evident that more changes were needed.
The challenges that we faced is that we had to build like a new performance culture from scratch, and we had to figure out like how we want the team to be. And obviously we had over the past 2 years some roster changes as well, but it's more importantly about like what do we want as like a culture, what do we want like how our day and our practice looks like, and how do we prepare everyone for that.
I think the main cultures is like, obviously every team is gonna say, hey, we try to take care of the players, to support them and everything else, but we really try to take it to the next level and try to support every single thing that there is around the players. And with someone like Isma, who manages to read what the people need before even they need it, it has been something that has really influenced our culture, and it has been the main thing about our culture. Just making sure we know and read what the players actually need and providing it for them.
The performance training that we have at Rogue is based on 3 principles: sports, nutrition, and psychology, which are performance pillars from the performance psychology and sports science field. And they are very or highly related to the cognitive performance and well-being of our players. This approach is important because esports, it is a pure cognitive activity. So it is all about cognition, and by science and practice we know that nutrition, exercise and psychological well-being helps to improve cognitive abilities. So that's why we're trying to go into that direction as well.
Okay.
We started the program in Summer Split 2019, and it was received with some obstacles from both players and coaches, but it was just natural because it was something new. So we started slow and steady with a lot of education, and for them to understand why this is important.
They say there's a first time for everything. With the proper infrastructure in place, the right coaching staff, the right facilities, the right focus, we ended the 2020 season with our best records yet. We even took G2 to 5 games in the postseason, a feat unheard of with newer teams in the league. People started to take us seriously. Our performance was worthy enough to represent one of the EU teams at the 2020 World Championships. We traveled to China to do battle against some of the best teams in international play. However, strong teams like JD Gaming and Damwon Gaming were quick to show us that while we did a bang-up job in EU, we had much more work to do to truly showcase our potential on an international stage. Even though we didn't make it out of groups, we had the satisfaction of basking in the glow of our accomplishments over such a short period of time. Our investments in our LEC roster led to huge gains. We saw similar glory achieved in the academy scene. Ego Rogue won EU Masters, and 4 of the 5 members quickly found new homes on several LEC teams.
I think what has made Rogue so successful in terms of promoting players to the LEC is that we take a long time scouting every player. We watch their solo queue, how they play in solo queue, we watch their competitive games, if they have any previous teams, and we have interviews with them and see how well they mesh together, and we speak a lot about it.
I believe investing in an academy team is something that has a high reward within a very short amount of time. Looking at the esports landscape, esports players, they don't know how a professional environment looks like. So getting them in early pays off hugely once they come on board and even make it into the first team. They already know all the routines, what it takes to be really a pro.
They say great things never come from your comfort zone. Many teams aiming for the top require big changes, and we weren't really any different. To that end, we said goodbye to not 1, but 2 players, top laner Finn and support player Vander. So who would we get to fill their shoes? To start, we looked to our academy team Ego Rogue that nurtured exceptional players like Inspired, Larson, and Finn. This would be the year we could show the world that we were a team to be taken seriously. We thought, how about Trimby?
He's also part of it.
You see, Trimby's story is interesting. Much like us, he has a bit of an underdog story. Before he played for Ego Rogue, his teams were placing very, very low. But once we got him on the academy team, he went on to win EU Masters in September 2020. He showed so much potential, so we had to promote him. We also needed a top laner that could own a solo lane, with or without the help of the jungler. Enter Odoamne. For those of you who don't know, Odoamne has been playing Pro League for about 7 years at this point. He's no stranger to the LEC and has played against some of the best players in the game.
For this year, why we look so good is just how the players fit with each other. Trimby, the young, hungry person, and Odoamne being that stabilizing force in the team, the voice of reason in a lot of situations, is what makes us really good this year.
From my point of view, I think we have probably the best split we had yet so far. Quite comparable with the summer split last year. I think these 2 splits were the splits we were really good, and we were having more of our full potential because everybody worked together for such a long time now.
From 10th place to the top of the LEC standings in 2 years. No matter what people might say about us, all we care about is pushing ourselves to greatness. Now, you know how we got here, and you're hopefully caught up. But our story doesn't finish here.
The future for Riot looks very bright. I really hope that we can leave our mark at Worlds this year and go in history as one of the best League of Legends teams.